I don't care what society thinks. They're nothing anyway. They're no better than me.
Until we hear the safe word, we will not stop.
Have you ever thought what it would be like to see a person's head amputated? Think of things so horrible that the human mind cannot imagine them. To see all this and more when you see on stage, in person, that crazy mix-up.
I like being set apart from people. I like to be hated.
Safe Word with Jason Rouse.
Hey, this is Jason Rouse, and welcome to the Safe Word Podcast. I'm sitting here on a Friday afternoon on a rainy day here in California, a stone's throw from the burial of Chris Cornell at the Hollywood Ever Cemetery. And I'm here with fellow Canadian, French Canadian, Derek Seguin. Seguin?
Yeah.
And you're here in America.
I sure am. Yeah.
How exciting is that?
It's exciting. You never know when you could die.
I saw you last night. I ran into our friend here. Abdul's messaging, coordinating some terrorist attack or something.
That's what you got to keep up to date with the terrorist attacks.
So I see you, and then you tell me Derek's around the corner, and I looked for him, and he wasn't there.
Yeah, I had to locate him and show you, but very excited.
You had to untie me.
He was very excited.
And you,
Derek was smoking, obviously. If you don't know Derek, you just follow the trail of cigarette smoke.
Derek is a French Canadian.
Yep.
Your English is getting better.
Québécois, thanks, man.
Since the last time I seen you, we were talking about that. This is your first trip to Los Angeles.
That's right.
And why? It's semi-business or?
It's semi-business. Abdul just moved here, so I came early. I have an engagement next week that I can't talk about publicly yet.
Yeah.
But I came down early because Abdul just moved here. I figured I'd come and visit the place that everyone talk about in our business.
Come in and do a little test run before
Sure.
You start coming back on a regular basis.
That's right.
That's cool.
Thanks, man.
Last time we saw each other, and we discussed this a few times. I think it was Nasty Show 2007.
Could be.
But you're saying sometime
I'm
after
sure
that.
we've seen each other since then, but that was a time for sure.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a fun time.
Are you doing the Nasty Show?
I don't know if I can talk about that either, but I am doing it. Unless I'm not supposed to talk about it, and they pulled me off of it because of this.
So you do comedy in your native tongue.
A little bit. Less and less, though, because things are going so good in English that I do less and less French show. Because when I'm at home, it's a little. We were talking off the air before about why even bother going to some of these shows. That's how it is in French. Like I could go and do a 10-minute set at the club because there's a French club now in Quebec.
Yeah.
That Mike Ward and some other comedian open.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Like I'm on the road so much, and I have 3 kids, so to leave on a Wednesday night to go do 10 minutes,
Dicking
for
around at an open
$100.
mic with kids is not going to happen.
I'd rather just sit at home and watch a movie with the kids.
Did the Jason Rouse program and decided just to die alone. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
I go out on open mic anytime.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
You got to get rid of those people. They're cutting into our quality time on a Wednesday in a room full of fucking nerds.
Yeah.
But what is that? What is the, for people that don't know, there's a province in we don't have states, as they say in the United States, America.
Yeah.
Canada's America.
North America.
North America.
Right.
Thank you.
North of North America.
And there's a French part of the country.
Yeah.
And I travel a lot, and people always ask me if I speak French or play hockey.
Right.
Or like the band Rush. And one of those things I do.
Rush, I guess.
I like Rush.
Yeah, I don't like Rush.
Do you like Voivod?
But I play hockey and speak French. So.
Do you like Voivod?
I do like Voivod.
There you go. Yeah. Redeemed. One of Quebec's, my favorite French-Canadian band.
Great. Offenbach. You should listen to Offenbach.
Is it in English or French?
It's in French.
Gee, that's a hard one for me.
But, it's
It's
just
like
words.
French hip-hop. I can't take it serious.
I don't love that either, I got to say.
What would happen to MC Solar?
I don't know. Who's
Remember that guy, the French rapper from the 90s?
No.
Yeah, there was a French Canadian. There was a bunch of,
MC
like,
Solar.
I remember probably in the late 80s. No. Early 90s, I guess. A lot of French rappers were coming out. Well, Music Plus.
Yeah, I know. And I don't.
Mitsu.
It's not for me. I like Mitsu.
Who doesn't
I
like
used
a
to
good
have a
Mitsu?
boner for Mitsu.
Who
man.
doesn't have a boner for Mitsu?
Yeah, that Bye Bye Mon Cowboy video.
Right.
I would rub
Teenagers.
one out to that for sure.
Can I get the 18-year-old girl with the 35-year-old drug addicts with the keyboards? We got a hit.
Yeah. You mean Men Without Hats? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Remember
the Bye Bye Mon Cowboy.
Yeah.
He's a pop star in Canada. Our Madonna at the time.
That's
maybe.
right, exactly. Yeah, more like our Samantha Fox.
Yeah,
she was like our Samantha Fox.
She was great.
She's a respected journalist now.
I heard that.
Yeah, man.
She, I poke in.
She's
on
like
her
the
career.
Mary Hart of Quebec now.
Yeah, but I've never wanted to eat Mary Hart's ass.
No, you're right. Yeah. She still looks good too. Mitsu, she looks.
I know.
She have a clothing line.
You're
and,
telling me something like I haven't paid attention. I've been stalking that poor girl for decades.
Yeah, she's still doing.
She's not even my type. I just know that she'd never want me, and that's why I want. I have a problem with that. I find that when I'm chased or oogled, I become more withdrawn from it, even though it's easier.
The challenge is fun.
It's not even the challenge. It's like if you're throwing yourself on the Jason Rouse fire out of the gate, you need to fuck off. Because I can't help you. This boat is sinking, bitch, and we need somebody with a paddle. Right? And if you got no paddle and you're just wearing lead shoes, this thing's already going down like the Titanic.
We don't need that.
No, we don't need that here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that tattooed across my chest with an arrow pointing down. We don't need that here.
If this disgusts you, ring the bell. And then we're in.
And pick up your Me Too tattoo on the way out. There's some problems in Canada I've been in my head lately about.
Yeah. Well, there's probably even bigger problems here, but yeah, we have some problems in Canada. The native community being one of the biggest one, I'd say.
Is there some white people trying to build another golf course?
No, we've just neglected them for so long, and we keep saying, "Oh, we're going to fix it. We're going to try to fix it. We're going to try to make some kind of amends.
We're going to move. We're going to fix it.
Yeah, we're going to
move.
give you your shit back. Yeah.
Sorry about the smallpox blankets.
Yeah, but we do very little. We say our government says we're going to fix things or try to make some kind of amend, and we don't. There's still
it's weird, right?
Hundreds of community of we let them. Okay, we've given you these reservation already that we tell you have to live there. And
concentration camp.
We don't even give you fucking water. There's
really
Canada. We have the most water on the planet, and there's just hundreds of native communities that don't have fresh, clean water coming out of their faucets.
It's like a third world situation.
Fucked up. Man.
Is Quebec more sensitive? Obviously, you paid a little more attention to this thing than I have. It's mind-boggling to see the red tape of we're going to fix this shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's an issue of clean water in the country is gross.
Yeah,
and
bad.
Disgusting. And with all the resources that the country has, and so many people there.
Right. I've been up to Iqaluit. It's a federal issue. I mean, they're the one with the jurisdiction, which is good because I think the Quebecois government would be very low on their list of priority of things to fix.
Yeah.
But I was up in the Iqaluit a few times over the last year, and Iqaluit is so Canada have 13 province and territories. So the territories are the very sparsely populated
Alaska
places, sort of parallel or even with Alaska. So to the right of Alaska, you have Northwest Territories, Yukon Territory, and Nunavut Territory.
Beautiful, by the way.
Well, not really. Beautiful if you like just rocks and blowing debris.
I live in Satan's asshole, Hollywood, California, but I'm trying to get to, Valhalla.
which you think is
Just
up in Nunavut.
Yeah, I think so. I can wander around naked and yell at trees and shit.
Sure, and your dick will fall off after like 14 seconds.
No, I
It's
put a curling
cold.
iron on the end of it. It's like a wiener roast. I'm from a working class community. I can fix shit. Make my dick not fall off.
But it's a sad situation up there. There's a lot of substance abuse problem, and therefore orphan, and we're just not taking care of our people. They're Canadian. They're the original Canadian. We should really fucking do whatever we can. So that's one.
I think so, and I think there's a lot to learn from the Native community in general.
So much,
with such a sprint with technology. It'd be nice to have some beads and crystals around once in a while and sit in a tent and do a peace pipe and shit. That sounds like that's necessary.
That's a whole
balance.
history lesson, right?
Yes.
From the beginning when we got here. We got here and we're meeting people that have lived here for generations, thousands of years, and they say, hey, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't set up camp there, you shouldn't do, and we just fuck off.
Yeah.
Savage. We know what
here's
we're doing.
a Bible, shut your mouth.
Yeah, and then we all just fucking start dying, and we blame them for it, even though they warned us not to do it. So now we build like a power station that totally fucking veer a river off.
Poisons their water.
Poisons the
brain
water.
tumors for all the babies.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not cool. And in the art community, it seems that I don't know what it is. I see 3 major strikes against the comedy community over the last 5 or 6 years with that incident with the open micer in Vancouver with a lesbian couple and our friend Mike.
Jamie?
No, Mike
Ward.
Mike Ward,
Ward,
sorry.
yeah.
Mike Ward with his situation, and then
That little fucking opportunistic, stupid fucking handicapped kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, he released an album of songs. So this is the story if you don't know.
Mike told me some of this.
He's a deaf kid that started singing, but he's deaf and he's disfigured, right? He's got some kind of fucking...
The Rocky Dennis face.
Yeah, like The Mask.
Yeah.
Like he's an inside-out version of The Mask.
Yeah.
That
Ryan Stoltz.
Cher movie. Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, Mask.
Yeah, Mask.
Not The Mask with Jim Carrey, but Mask with Cher.
Yeah.
And Ryan Stoltz from Pulp
Eric
Fiction.
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz,
yeah. But it's the opposite of that. So Mask with Eric Stoltz had a big swollen disfigurement. This guy is like more of like a
apple doll.
Like his head is imploding or something.
A dried up date.
And so
Your
he's
singing
deaf
voice
though,
sounds
and he
great, by the way.
sings. No, he's awful. He's deafest. See.
No, your singing voice.
Oh, thanks.
It sounds like you're talking through the bottom of a pack of cigarettes.
I wish I was, but we have to smoke over there by the window.
Tabernacle. So this kid's disfigured. I have a theory about this.
Yeah.
The kid has a terrible situation.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing he has any control over. He
No.
finds some sympathy, obviously, through his mother, who kind of, lays down the groundwork for him to be in a public situation.
Singing for the Pope.
Singing for the Pope. Very, raw humanity.
Yeah.
Puts out an album, on a book, and his star starts to fade. Well,
The album and the book, though, came after the lawsuit.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah, he took that the public eye to make those endeavors successful, which is not
The kids-
sympathy anymore. It's you little fucking
Ugly prostitute.
and
his
ruin
pimp mother.
trying to ruin Mike's
Yeah.
life to raise his
Profile.
I don't care
And with-
how unlucky you were at birth. You're being a fucking asshole now.
Yeah. They come in all forms, and
Yeah,
sometimes
man.
they're in wheelchairs with kicked-in faces.
Yeah. He's not in a wheelchair
Looks-
though. He can walk.
He will be when I run into him.
Fuck, they had him at the big rock fest.
Performing?
Yeah, he performed with a famous band, I think, at Montebello. That's right. Primus or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the band. I could search it, but yeah, there was a huge. Yeah, he played with a huge band. Yeah,
In
at Montebello.
Quebec.
Yeah, in Quebec. Yeah, at Rockfest where they have they've had Metallica. they've
Yeah,
had
they
so-
bring him
yeah.
out. It's like the bearded lady at the circus.
Yeah, exactly,
They
yeah.
just bring him out, and everyone goes, "Oh!" And all the people on acid watching the show are freaking right out. Oh my God, that guy's face is melting! Ah!
But here's the thing: as a singer, go give motivational speech like that guy from Australia with no arms and no legs that goes and talks to the children. Like, You just have to persevere, and you fall, you find a way to get back up. Fine, but as a singer at 8 years old, you're like, well, that's cute. Yeah, good for you for trying. But listen, Asti is a deaf kid. He's not going to be that good of a singer.
No, there was no future in that career.
No.
There was no remixes coming out of his latest album.
So,
No collaborations with Justin Bieber.
But that, like you said, I think it was a big hit. And it's an ongoing thing. It's a big hit to the comedy community because Mike lost the first lawsuit.
Yeah.
The civil rights office.
Why would he
Quebec.
pay? I don't understand. He has a family, but if he didn't pay, he'd just go to jail. Right?
Mike?
Yeah.
Mike, this is the thing. Mike, I don't know if he even mentioned this, but he's a guy of principle. Like he could, for the amount.
Moral fiber.
The amount that they sued him for
Yeah.
was significantly less than what he spent on the defense. They were suing him for $80,000, and Mike lost. But
Yeah.
they didn't award 80. I think they awarded 36,000.
Sure.
So Mike spent, between you and me and everybody listening, he spent already more than 4 times that amount
Yeah.
on the defense, and now the ongoing appeal,
Yeah.
which we don't know how long it will take. But Mike could have just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to pay the 36,000 and be done with it." But he's fighting for all of us, which
That's
I don't
right.
think
Explain to
everybody in our community know. This guy is out of pocket. It's private to him. But more money than a lot of comedians can imagine making in a year.
Yeah.
Mike has spent defending all of us his right to say whatever the fuck we want.
That's why it's important that he got heard while he was here. And, he said he was very grateful for my, thing. I go, but this affects me. I'm a little selfish in this. I think you're a great guy and stuff, but this is about the cause. And these people, and I was so angry I couldn't even read it. I got to sit down and focus and assess myself. But there's a petition going around right now to say that comedy is not a legit art form.
That it is a legitimate art form, yeah.
That it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would that? I'm curious because
I've just been named the Quebec ambassador for this group. I don't
get
I haven't
hammered.
Yeah.
Get fucking no. Actually, don't listen to me at all. You handle this to your best ability. Who's been appointed? Because to be honest with you, I'm at the top of the pyramid as far as
Canadian comedians.
No, nothing to do with talent. It's more context. And I'm the filthiest.
Mm-hmm.
And this petition and these kind of lawsuits against these type of people, they found their angle because they have a person, a personality.
Well, wait a second. Let's separate those two things. The lawsuit is bad for us. The petition is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
The petition is pro comedy.
Who's set the petition up?
Her name is Sandra Battaglini.
Yeah.
And what's her motive behind this? Is she trying to get some sort of government funding? Because it's like
wants
marijuana legalization.
Yeah.
I think comedy being oppressed and exiled and leopards of the artistic community, it's that diamond pressure thing.
Maybe.
And, I don't know if it's a good thing, like legalizing marijuana, as you can see in California. It's already been in the community in California for fucking 50 years. But communities that don't have, or countries or places that don't have that kind of system or background in place, then all these cooks can tax this. You need the fingerprint, your ID swipes here, and they just start logging information on you and taxing you accordingly. Is that would be the case in legalizing comedy?
You bring up a point. Take away the struggle, and maybe the art form will lose something. But I don't think it's so far away from that, Jason. I think right now we're just trying to legitimize the thing, and I think the Canadian people
to look at our best exports are hockey players, wood, and humorists.
Yeah.
The biggest comedians in the world are Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Russ,
This is for something at the mid-range. People like at my level, for instance, like I'm touring myself right now.
They're eating their own. That's what they're doing. The middle class people that go to comedy clubs are eating the entertainment that is the only truthful platform for people to speak in public, uncensored, and regardless of whether or not you're invested, it's all going to be dismissed as humor. And if you're not enjoying the comedy, leave. And there's enough information on every comedian, excessive amount of information on anybody. So to get an injunction or a lobby against somebody, you know, that joke that he did on his special like 7 years ago, that kid, the kid wasn't at the show, and if he was at the show,
he wouldn't have done it.
He wouldn't have done that.
No, exactly.
Because you could point right to that kid, and as long as it was in a joyful, even I've said the most meanest. Jason, there's a guy in a wheelchair in the front. What are you telling me for? What are you telling me that for?
Yeah.
So we can ostracize him from the experience of comedy?
Right.
So now I'm going to maliciously attack it so it becomes a Stockholm syndrome. It will be either the guy will hang himself following the show, or or I'm sitting on his lap.
Finally, they don't like you said, ostracize me. Finally, they let me be part of something like everybody else.
And I'm sitting in the guy's lap in his wheelchair, and he's like, "Dude, you're my favorite comedian."
That's right. You're like, "Am I heavy?" Oh, that's right. You can't even feel it.
Yeah. Are you happy to see me? Or is that your pacemaker? And there were always. I've never had a situation. It's the uptight white chick in her 20s. The worst. White girls, you're the worst. You're the worst. White chicks have no sense of humor.
Well, this is what I would say about Mike and that whole issue is that a lot of them, and again, it's
white chicks are the worst, my brown friend.
It was white chicks that it's all their fault for this. But
he's the most well-spoken, literate person out of the group. I found ignorant. Did you go to university?
No, not at all. I barely graduated high school. But yeah. But the thing about that is a lot of people would say to Mike, they go, you can't make fun of the kid because he's handicapped, right? You can't do that because a lot of people would use the example of like, well, Justin Bieber was fair game. He
people
was 16,
pick on the president all the time,
right? But the kid, like they're saying kids, right? So kids, you can't say anything, right?
The unfuckable.
I guess I don't know if it depends if you care for law. You could. Some people fuck kids.
What?
But no, I was just gonna say, is that yours? I don't know. I'm trying to fit the podcast style. What I was gonna say was,
this thing isn't even on. I just do people in the. There's a hidden camera in the corner.
But people were saying Mike can't make fun of the kid because he's handicapped. And they were basically what they're doing is they're taking away that kid's right to just live a normal life by saying he's not fair game because he's handicapped.
Yeah.
Now you're taking away the kid's right to being part of the rest of us.
Yes, the community.
So they're worse than what I think Mike was doing. Mike was including them as he would any other celebrity or any other person he would make fun of.
Yes.
And he doesn't just exclude that one person because they're handicapped.
No, you can't. You can't. It's a blanket.
That's the whole basis for the defense, too, is that, yes, okay, he's a handicapped kid, but at the time of the lawsuit, he was 18, so he wasn't even a kid anymore.
So he is fuckable.
But also, public figure changes. That doesn't matter, right? Once you're a public figure, you know what I mean? You're open season. You sought celebrity by becoming a singer.
And that's the problem. He sought the celebrity. He got it. It feels great. It's great for your ego. People, can I take your picture? Here's some this, some free that. And then when that starts to dissipate, people freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
And they start pulling things down with them as they're going. Our friend in his financial situation. That's a perfect example of somebody that rather not develop a talent or something that to kind of work off of the situation, he rather sue a comedian.
Comedian, right.
Yeah.
For the celebrity and for a cash grab, right?
Go do some fucking Second City classes. Start an improv group. Stay out of my fucking neighborhood, you cunt. I'll step on that.
And sadly, that's the second time that Mike's gone through a similar thing. Like the first time there was no lawsuit, but there was death threats and because he had a joke about and it was. Here's the thing: people take like these fucking white bitches, like you're saying, these crusading little fucking.
How do you say
twats.
it in French? What would you call
the gun?
Claire Declan.
Yeah, sure, that's good enough. I'm sure they're just as offended by what it's the sentiment behind it that
They know what I'm saying.
They feel it. But yeah, these people that feel entitled to be the fucking moral conscience of a society, fuck you. It's not your job to fight for everybody. If you don't like it, like you said before, fucking leave. But
white chicks have been fawned over and put into a position now that they think that they have a vote on morality.
What's right and what's not.
What's right and wrong, because their voices are the only ones that get heard.
Right. But the first time Mike got in trouble, he had a joke. And this is the thing. The joke itself was about Revenu Québec. So the IRS of Quebec, the tax people in Quebec. And it was basically, the joke was, fuck, if you don't pay your tax on time, they're going to garnish your wage, and then you get access to your bank account. There was a very famous missing girl at the time in Quebec called Cédrica was her name, and she was on all the milk carton or whatever. Everyone was looking for this kidnapped or missing.
The John Benet Ramsey
of Quebec. Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And so he was at the end of that Revenue Quebec, the tax Quebec joke, he's like, they go in your bank account, like, what's next? You have nothing in your bank account, they kidnap your kid. That's probably where Cédrica is. She's probably at the IRS. Fucking Revenu Quebec office right now, just being held until their dad pay his $72. Yeah. And people went nuts. People were stalking him outside of his house, waiting for him to come out and throwing rocks at his car.
Because he's a nice guy.
And it's not a joke. He wasn't making light of that. He was saying...
No,
using something that is in the lexicon of the society of the day to say that the government is fucking overtaxing us and doing nothing in return.
You got to look at the source. And Mike is a sensitive, nice, caring,
generous,
moral dude. So leave him alone. Come after me, please. I need this. I need this shit.
Yeah, but that's the thing is you see the skulls on the table they're scared of right here. You have skulls. Mike is the type, he's just too nice, like exactly what you said. Yeah.
Use it. He's like the like the limping clown. Right. And everybody in the stand, even though he got a standing ovation, now they're throwing bottles at him. And I'm the drunk guy in the stands with his dick out.
Throwing chocolate bars at him because he's a diabetic.
No. I'm trying to get the heat over here. Don't go over there. We can do it. Get the elephant heart. I want to show you guys something. He's making balloon animals, and they're a little weird. Some of the animals have a little Hitler mustache for hilarity. You know what I mean? But there's to go after him. They know that.
Will he crawl in that elephant's ass?
He has something to lose. I have nothing to lose. Anyway, I don't want to make this about me, but I'm really
anxiously anticipating your first lawsuit. The first civil rights.
Look, you can take my BMX and all my black T-shirts. See, that's the thing. I never married. I never had children. I cut off as many avenues to my heart as possible, going the route that I have in comedy, and leaving Canada and going to Europe in early 2000s. I got more of a broader picture on what comedy is, and the best of your ability. It might be non-conventional or popular, but there's still a place for all of it. And even Mike's not some open micer. He's established, and he should be praised. There's how many French fucking Canadian, how many comics are doing comedy in French? Yeah. You know what I mean? There's maybe 6 that I know of any worth. You know what I mean? That are legit touring comedians that have come up through a comedy club circuit and gone on to bigger and better things.
In French in Quebec?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's
3?
There's tons. No, 50. The star system in Quebec is more established than in the rest of Canada.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
But because the ceiling is so low, right? Because like for you, for instance, you get to a certain level in Canada and the world is your oyster, right?
Yeah, English.
In Quebec, you're the top comedian in Quebec. The only next place to go is Quebec television or Quebec film, Quebec radio.
movies,
put out an album. Like when you hit the top of the food chain in Quebec comedy, there's such an appreciated and loved
Sweden, Norway, Finland,
they love
Denmark,
their
the same kind of thing.
So they will offer that you want your own radio show, you want to put out a rap album, they'll let you because you're there, you're the top guy. So Mike is one of those top guys. But they really he's had several TV shows and that. So like you said, yes, he could afford
he's a target.
This lawsuit.
Yeah, they knew. They looked over. Somebody went through his touring schedule and did some numbers, and go, okay, we can take him for X.
Yeah, they also,
and then we'll just chip away at the rest of it.
The numbers that the media put out is not the numbers that I think they said he made $20 million on his last tour.
Well,
they
villainized him through his assets. They made him, this guy's a rich asshole.
Yeah,
and it's not the case.
He's not that rich either. Like if the tour generate $20 million, we all know how touring works. There's like 100 people you have to pay, and the venues and the marketing and the.
You got to have tens of millions of dollars in the bank now to be rich.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody in the country doing stand-up comedy has that.
No,
there's just not the population to support it.
No, we don't. We're lucky. Any one of us that make a living, that just pay our rent and our grocery with what we do, I still think we're the luckiest in the world.
Oh,
like you said, somebody cleans you out, takes your BMX and all your black T-shirts, and that's it. You start from scratch. Tomorrow, you fly home to Hamilton, and if you hustle, within 3 months, you've got 15 grand because you're still who you are, and you still say the shit you say.
Totally.
We're lucky like that as long as we don't lose whatever it is that we have that allow us to do this, we could be at zero tomorrow, basically like Abdul moving to LA, starting from scratch.
That's an awesome place to be.
But we know what we're doing. So if
upward
he gets lean here, he knows he can just go
pop over
to markets where he can just make a call and put me on, and he comes home, comes back with. We can always make money until stand-up comedy become irrelevant and that's the scary thing. If ever stand-up comedy become enemy of like Donald Trump want to build a wall around stand-up comedy or something.
I don't think the idea of people in a room with somebody standing in the corner talking will be
standing on a soapbox. Yeah, man.
That's how it started. The village idiot, the court gesture, everything up to George Carlin and down again.
Yeah.
People always want to hear a great story.
Like we took a hit there in the early 2000s when you left. But stand-up was on the decline, right, because of the internet. But then I think after a few years, people realized watching a special on Netflix, it's not the same.
No.
Because the people that you're watching in the room on the night of that taping are experiencing something magical of that night. And the next night it was a new magic, right?
Definitely.
So, more so with different comedians, like comedians that you never know what's going to happen, like yourself. And I like to think myself. Each night it's a different experience, and the community of the audience itself. Like I'm sure you've noticed that each audience, reacts different to different things.
Completely different animal.
A group of people develop one very specific personality just being in a room together. After 30 seconds of them all being in a room together.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? And everyone, hey, okay, there we go, and then we're off. And then we're off and running, and we create this experience together.
Yeah.
No one's thinking about, ideally, anything other than that moment.
And they're taking it in together.
Yeah.
The same jokes will have completely different reactions on different nights.
Yeah, or people decide to come up and give you...
Depending on how many of those white privileged cunt faces
are
in the
fucking
audience.
cunts. How do you say it in French again? Let me give you something in English to give me back in French. Some Jason Rouseism here. White cunt's always good, but uppity. Let's just stick with cunt. It's classic.
We don't have a word for country. Plot, I guess. Plot would be.
Oh, I thought you pronounced it people from Toronto.
Plot fraîchier.
What is? I guess Toronto and Montreal have been rooted in everything from hockey rivals to politics and
social values too.
Yeah.
Because I used to have a job. I wasn't always a comedian, and in the workforce, we would often say that, because Toronto and Montreal do a lot of business together, and Toronto would always complain, like if they called Montreal office at 5:05, nobody answered the phone, we all fuck off. And we're always like, in Toronto, they're always working. It's like Saturday night, you're at a party and people are giving you business card, and you're like, fuck you, I thought you toke pass, I don't want your business card.
Yeah.
Unless you're giving me your card to make a filter in my joint, fuck off with the, you know what I mean? So in Montreal, we work to live. And in Toronto, it's always felt like they live to work. Like it's just, oh man, let's get serious all the time.
It has it's the East Coast, West Coast. Like Toronto is very much New York in that sense. It's very business, money, and Vancouver has that California. They try and mimic that freshness.
And I think Toronto, if you go back even further, Toronto have that old British class system thing happening where you have to be serious and noble and whatever, where Montreal is more French, fucking bohemian.
Just count strip clubs per city. That's a good measurement of a good time. Is how many strip clubs are there in the club? Not that you have to frequent them, but it gives you a general idea on what their moral boundaries are.
Yeah.
And we're all smart. As soon as I said Montreal strip clubs, you guys just went, yeah. Guilty as charged.
We invented the contact dancing, man. Legal
lap dancing,
prostitution. Yeah.
What do you mean contact dancing?
Where you can touch them.
You can touch them. Yeah, I've touched.
You're allowed though. It's like a
it's weird
thing, and it's spreading.
I think I don't really touch, but I have, and it's weird because then I
know you really feel, because when we were kids, when they fuck you touch, you even look like you're gonna touch, you get your head kicked in, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now when you get a lap dance, the girl's like,
why didn't you finger bang me?
Why are you touching me? Yeah,
don't you like it?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Well, you still gotta. You have a condom hanging out of your ass. The man said this was the VIP room. Can we get that balloon animal out of your dirt star? So, I'll see you later for second song. My little Kleenex box.
You just pull like, tink.
Hey, I won a prize. One of those Christmas crackers.
Yeah.
Oh, toys, except it's just herpes every time. I want to go back to Montreal, but in the winter. Not in the winter.
Not in the winter. Why
Not in the
would you
winter.
wanna go to Montreal? In the winter, all the beautiful women are all bundled up. You got to go in the spring when they're so anxious to wear that new fucking tight dress. I know.
They got a strut.
It's, man, the spring in Montreal, you're like, the first nice day, like
it's
jacket.
Over.
You just walk out there, you're like, where the fuck were you guys all winter?
Yeah.
Apparently you put a parka on and women, and Montreal women don't have that same reputation. Like their faces are okay, but
I think that's the stealth, that the thing that they do is they know that the winter's going to be crushing. So they stack their chips. They get to the gym and they just fucking shred it for 3 months, walking in the snow, long coats, scarves, and then spring with that.
I'm getting a promotion.
Pussy's been like hitting tanning beds and being waxed. It looks like a horse saddle. It's just ready to be ridden. You know what I mean? All that daddy spots. Right? Are you crying?
You just made such a beautiful picture.
They spend so much, and then they party all
such
summer.
Such a nice tribute to Montreal there. It's just very, maybe homesick.
Yeah, horse saddles, and vaginas.
Daddy spots.
Daddy spots. That's kind of weird. Anywho, but tonight's Friday.
Yes, it is.
That's exciting.
My first Friday in Los Angeles.
Well, I know you're here for a good time, and I know that you're nervous because of that. and the whole time, his whole body language, he's had his arm wrapped around him to keep his guts in, because he knows that there's a juggernaut of pain coming around at 12:30 in the morning, and you are like Derek and Rouse. Sounds good on paper, but I can see you sitting there like this parent, like two kids are about to bite each other's faces.
He feels responsible for me too, yeah, so he's worried.
He must care about your family.
He does.
I can see it, that he will be found liable for anything that I do.
My girlfriend actually keeps in contact with him, just like, make sure
I can
sure he
totally
takes
tell.
his vitamins.
I can see the physicality of us talking, and we're going down the dirty road, and he's like, no one died, no one died, no one died, no one died, fuck, I'm just moving here, I don't need any bad vibes, I'm trying to make it go. Derek and Rouse, what the fuck, what was I thinking? I shouldn't have told him he was down there. This is a bad idea. It's going to be awesome.
So fun.
The After Hours Club is across the street from my house.
Oh, wicked.
It'd be fun. I'm getting ready to head to Canada myself to start some riots.
Cool. You working too, though?
I am.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going over to do 4 weeks with Yuck Yucks.
Sweet.
Minus Edmonton. You know they banned me from the
Me
Edmonton.
too.
You're banned from?
Yes, sir.
Are you?
Yeah, man.
From Edmonton Yucks or
Yeah,
just
Edmonton. Yeah, not from the whole city.
No shit.
Yeah.
4? You tell your story, I'll do mine.
It comes
And this
from,
is no reflection that the lady who runs it,
She's
the
a
staff,
sweetheart.
Sweet.
She is
I think
sweet.
she's in a bad club. She should
the
be
casino,
moved to
they're
a better
evil.
club.
That's an evil
Yeah.
corporation that
Yeah.
stole the club away from honest businessmen in Newfoundland.
Oh, really?
They fucking stole it right out from under them. Like, they were unfair. They offered them 30 cents on the dollar for the whole club, and they're like, "No, fuck you. Come get it if you want." And of course, they're not going to go. What are they going to do with it? So they just kept it and they took it. The original club owners
on it.
had been asking for, can we do a dinner show package or a drink special or, something? And they're like, nope, we don't do any of that. Nope. And as soon as they took over the club, it's full of drink specials, 2 for 1, buy a ticket to the thing, get another show. So they fucked them. They fucked them good. So I have no. And I got banned because they said I smoked in my hotel room, which I did not do. I smoked in the green room because my MC went on way too long, and I'm like, fuck, well, I'm going to smoke, but I can't leave the room. So, but they had no proof of that unless they have a camera in the bathroom, which is illegal. So if they did see me do it, they can't prove it. But they said I smoked in my room, and they said their evidence was an empty cigarette pack in the garbage of the hotel room. And I'm like, go fuck you. That's not evidence. That's evidence that I threw my empty pack in the garbage instead of on the floor. Yeah. And they said if you don't pay the cleaning fee, you're banned from the club. You can't come.
How much
like,
is the cleaning fee?
$250.
Okay. I have a very similar situation.
And I called my credit card company to cancel. I said, no, stop that payment. I'm not paying that. And then he tried to leverage me, saying you're banned from the club if you don't. Yeah. And I was already booked to play there again, like in 2 months, because it happened way later or whatever. So I called the credit card company and said, listen, I put a hold on the thing. Can you just pay it? And she's like, oh, why? Did you forget you had done? No, I'm being blackmailed, basically. Yeah. Because I was doing a 3-weeker. I was doing Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary. So if I lost that gig, it would make it a shitty hole. So
and
I was just like,
nickel and dime as it is.
I was like, just pay it. And she's like, well, what do you mean you're being blackmailed? I said, well, because they said I smoke in my room, but I didn't smoke in my room. But they said if I don't do it,
you're on the phone with the credit card.
With the credit card company.
Interesting.
And they said I'll lose the gig if I don't pay the thing. So I guess I have to pay the thing. And she's like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a comedian. She's like, I thought your name was familiar.
She knows
you're Derek Seguin from the Debaters. Yeah.
That's gangster.
And I was like, yeah, and that is me. She's like, listen, Derek, how about we do this? I'll take this file and I'll put, when's the gig? It's December 4. I'll put this ticket on the bottom of the pile, and I'll probably only get around to it on December 5th. Yes. So
Viva la comedy.
Yeah. So I did the gig. They reversed the charge.
You're a hero.
But then I can't play the club anymore. So I told Mark, I said, either take care of it or I'm going to start working the other club. Mark Breslin. And he's like, okay, Derek, I'm going there in 2 weeks for a thing with Carla Collins or whatever. I'll talk to them. And he came back and he's like, nothing I can do, man.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can do. And I think he didn't even talk about it. He just forgot. So he says, yeah, you know, if you can't play there, you have my blessing to play. So now I play at Ricky's place. Yeah. Which is fucking million times better. Cool. It's not only better than the Edmonton Yucks, it's one of the best clubs in the country, right? So
that location,
it's a win-win
right?
for me all around.
It's a very similar situation. I was my flight left at I think I had to leave for the airport at 5 a.m. There's like a $200 cash deposit you had to leave at the front desk. Right. So I went down to grab that on the way to the airport. Front desk was closed. I'm fine. I'll call the club when I get to the next city, do a follow up, have the money sent to me. No big deal. Put it on my check. Call the club. Said, I forgot my deposit. Can you get this to me? She calls me back. Said, there's been a bit of a problem. They found drugs in your room. they found drugs in my room.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, yeah, there was a little bit of some marijuana residue on the desk, and you're banned from the casino. You can still come to the club, but you just can't stay in the hotel in the casino.
Yeah.
I said, wow. I quit. Keep my deposit. I'll never be back there.
Yeah.
You're going to keep my money. This casino is going to keep, because there was crumbs. Somebody had died of a pill overdose 2 doors down from Percocets, and you're going to come down on me for some fucking broccoli crumbs?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's the casinos are wired to bleed you. And at every turn.
There has been some comedian, though, that give us all a bad rap, right? So I think
trash the room.
Slowly want us to not stay there. They don't want the comedians there. They want us to take up a room. They know that.
No, because we're not gambling.
A lot of us will. I'm a huge gambler.
Yeah.
So they're losing out big time.
But they know how much comedians are making.
Yeah.
And they know that they're not going to be putting that back at the casino. So everybody that stays in the casino is paying for a room and the atmosphere of the casino.
Right. Well, they underestimate me.
Yeah.
I put a lot.
I know your name. That's great, right?
Yeah.
I had that at Customs before.
I was so like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I felt like I was really sticking it to a fucking unjust man, like it was great.
Mm-hmm. Since I got pulled aside at Canadian Customs for a bag search or whatever, and I go over and these 3 fucking cops, whatever, come over and, Jason Rouse? He goes, what are you doing here? I go, I don't know. They told me to come here. He goes, get your bag and get out of here.
That's
nice to see
great.
You. Are you doing shows?
Oh, that's great.
That happens. That's the only thing. And I've heard people, epic celebrities, like getting a nice table or something in that context where you're like, oh, dude, I just need a fucking horseshoe from the universe here.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I've been traveling. Oh, Jason, we can move you up to first class.
That's happened to me one time. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's great.
And you remember that forever.
Oh,
we're simple folk.
Yeah, man. It doesn't take much.
It doesn't take
that
much.
Extra bag of almonds, man. I'm very
it's really nice.
Yeah.
We're appreciative. Just get us from A to B so we can do what we love.
Yeah.
And hopefully no one gets hurt, no one gets sued. I'm going to fuck up Vancouver this April. First week of April, it's my one-man show called I Throw Chairs, Go Fuck Yourself. It's done
at
with
the club. Are you doing?
I do it at the club,
yuck-yucks?
strobe light and a smoke machine, and I just whip furniture around the club. With Bye Bye Monk Cowboy in the background. Bye Bye Monk Cowboy.
Yeah.
Furniture just goes fly in a blacked out room. It's going to be hilarious. I had the police come to a show in Vancouver.
No shit.
Yeah, it was where the mix is now. In the hotel in the casino or the club was
It's a great club.
attached. And I had a phone call in my room. This is Constable so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Could you come down? We'd like to speak to you about an incident that happened last night. Click. I hung up. Ring, ring, ring. Jason, this is Constable, blah, blah, blah. From the police department. Can you come? Click. Rings again. I pick it up. Hello.
Pizza delivery.
Bonjour. This is the manager of the hotel. There is a police officer here. I'll get my jacket. I'll be right down. So when they put up warning signs and, and this has only happened like in the last 5 or 6 years. Like they never had to do warning signs or any of this. So it's clearly the dynamic of people.
And Vancouver and Toronto are the 2 spots where those fucking privileged
Vancouver
late 20s, early 30s women that fucking are the moral compass for everybody they herd around even more in those 2 cities.
Yeah, Vancouver has the hippie mob mentality,
Hipster
picket
fucking,
sign, and Toronto's got Facebook groups, right?
Yeah.
And they're very organized very quickly. God damn it, come for me, you cunts. Malachi, Malachi. Woo! I am excited.
So what happened? You went down?
Yeah, I go down. There's a young police officer. I walk up to him. I'm kind of smiling. I'm like, what the fuck? He goes, there was a complaint. There was a lady, a young woman who...
Indecency or something?
No, she stood up and started yelling at me during the show, some moral issues that she had. And The audience booed her out of the room. They were, fuck you, or she's leaving the stairs. People were yelling back. Like,
I love
it was
that.
a riot. It was hilarious. It was the eye of the tornado for sure. And he told me one of my jokes back to me, which was awesome. I wish I had it recorded.
Yeah.
He goes, I go, well, what was the issue? She goes, she said that you were going to fuck her with a knife to her throat because it reminded her of her father. And I said, yes. But it was hilarious. I have everything. I go, walk with me. I go, come down the stairs here. You see all these signs here? These weren't here 10 years ago. Now they do. And not only that, it was when people called to book tickets, they literally have had friends being talked out of buying tickets. Like, can I get 2 tickets? It's Jason Rouse show. It's going to be new, all this thing. And
You sound like a nice girl.
Yeah, you shouldn't go here. Like, it's just the weirdest.
The Traveling Pants movie just came out. You should probably go to that instead.
New Aladdin movies. You guys should maybe go down there with your grandmother. You don't need this struggle. Yeah, they tell them, like, my friends are they were like trying to talk us out of the ticket. So they've been forewarned, and the only rule that I know of is there's no touching.
Right.
I can't touch anybody physically, and I don't. But anything in that room is my place of business. So once that door slams behind you, it gets a little.
Right, yeah. Did you go see James Gandolfini for beating the shit out of Patricia Arquette? You know what I mean? Like, it's the art. We can do whatever we want.
Thank you. You don't go up to Kevin
Remember
Spacey.
that in True Romance? When
Yeah.
James Gandolfini beat the shit out of Patricia Arquette? That was fucking violent as shit.
Yeah. Have you seen that? What was that? I think it was
There's an Australian movie, Once Were Warriors, that has the worst man-on-girl fucking beating.
Oh, have you seen Irreversible?
No, I don't know. What
There's
is
a
that?
10, 15-minute rape scene with that French Italian actress from The Matrix. Beautiful girl. It's fucking horrific. But the scene is, it's ongoing. Like, you're like, holy fuck. She gets attacked and assaulted in an underpass and a long walkway and stuff.
Yeah,
and the guy's doing, what do you call it?
Poppers?
Poppers and raping her.
Not that I know anything about drugs.
No. Have you tried poppers?
Yeah, of course. First time I did it, it was a professor in college that
opened up your asshole to a bigger future?
Yeah, man.
It's known as a gay drug, but I've done it, and I never felt gay.
I never did it at the best time to do it. They say right before you're about to come is when you should take a huge shot of it. I've never tried that. I just do it.
I like to take a deep breath before I'm about to come to try and push all of it out. I like to make a real mess. I call it the mud plunger. And just both barrels, tapioca kid.
Both barrels? What kind of fucking weird cock do you have?
No.
That's too many piercings, Jason. You've got 2 barrels now. Something has gone very wrong.
I was born with 2 urethras. Yeah.
It's like a hammerhead shark. They just shoot out sideways. Fucking they think they're dodging the bullet by going on the side, and just like, ka-tow! And your sister too.
Yeah, you go to the left, you go to the right, and I'm sure I shouldn't get it on anybody. Oh, in your ear. Gotcha. You're dirty now. Go have a shower. Take off my pants. There's fuck, I forgot my train of thought.
Sorry.
But Friday night, we were at the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Last night, yeah.
Yeah, it was your first time.
It was my first
walked
time.
around.
It's pretty impressive.
You've come at a good time to see that, because 10 years ago it was like a wax museum in Niagara Falls during November.
Oh, no way.
It was
People
very
had stopped going.
Yeah, there was just no talent. There was old comedians and young, half-hearted, a couple of legends still poking around, but it's nowhere where it's at now.
Wow.
So, who did you see last night? Just
as far
as well-known,
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Rogan's there all the time.
David Spade.
Yeah, David's great, right? Did you watch his stand-up?
No, I didn't.
He's good.
It was too full to get in there.
Yeah.
Kevin Nealon was doing something in the big room, but we didn't get to see him either. It was a private show or something.
So you just looked through the window.
Whitney Cummings was there. Mm-hmm. Also, Jeff Ross was there. Martin Lawrence showed up.
Yeah, how cool is that? Martin Lawrence.
I didn't even get to lay eyes on him, but
he was in that little room by us at the patio. You were literally standing 10 feet from him for most of the night.
No shit.
Yeah.
I say I should pay it more attention.
No,
I was still all inside my own head. Because I have met Whitney Cummings before, and I kind of like wanted to talk to her, but I hadn't had enough beers yet, so I was still shy. So I was just kind of with my hands in my pocket kicking pebbles, and it's still bugging me now. I don't know why. But,
because you knew that you are a coworker.
And she actually, when she introduced me, we spoke long enough and went over my name long enough that she said my name better than you did. And we've known each other for a lot longer than...
I know, but I grew up in the Ontario school system.
Yeah, she grew up in the fucking American school system, so...
I'm from Hamilton.
Right.
That's
Touché.
like...
You win.
DeVry graduates in Hamilton are like, Harvard graduates. I never finished high school.
For real?
No.
How old were you when you started stand-up?
68. I was 25.
Okay.
With Seth Rogen.
Wow. You started in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Wow.
Me and Seth and half a dozen other people were kind of in that thing. I think me and Seth and...
Bueller?
No.
Brent Butt?
Brent...
He was already doing it?
He'd left Yuck Yucks yearly. But I was like, this is open mic time, June of 95, I think I did my first show. Mm-hmm. And then moved back to Ontario in November of that year, realizing finally after procrastinating for, over 2 years, because when I left in 93 to go to Vancouver, it was kind of like, I got to go do something, and it ain't here. So a friend of mine and I had moved out there, and I don't know what to do, comedy. I want to do comedy. I don't know how do you do it. And, I'm here by myself. There's no handbook, or there is a handbook, but don't use the or where do I stand during this whole thing? Well, I'll just go get in the line and see what happens. Yeah. And then start doing some comedy. What's the thing? Get on stage. Well, look at the map. 70% of the comedy clubs 20 years ago were in Ontario, and after Montreal. None. What the fuck is there? On the East Coast, there's the Halifax, St. John, Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto, Mississauga, the Horseshoe, Niagara Falls, down to Windsor. Then on that side, what do you got? There's something in Winnipeg, something in Calgary, in Alberta,
Edmonton,
and then BC's had Vancouver. And a couple of clubs have popped up here and there and gone.
Or weeklies in a different...
floater kind of rooms.
Prince George or whatever. All the princes.
Moose Jaw and things. But there's not a lot of concentration of, the commutes to get stage time on the West Coast are way
crazy,
more.
Yeah.
So Ontario, when I'd gone back, I was like, Hamilton's club is home, and I can build something here to Toronto and so on and so forth. Huh. Can't wait for tonight. Hopefully the rain stops. You're gonna fuck up. Your wife's gonna leave you, buddy. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. We can push bunk beds in the corner here. You're getting ready to do a tour.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm
you how many cities? You said named off
20?
like 20 cities.
Yeah.
In 2 months or
over 2.5 months. Yeah, because I'm new to it still, so I'm still very nervous about it and wondering if it's even the right way. It just felt like the next logical step, like I'm filling up every room I go to for somebody else. Why don't I try to do it for myself?
Most definitely. And it's 10 times more work, but it's more...
And you're out all this money, up until now, I just
you're gambling on yourself.
I answer the phone, show up, and I know how much money I'm making, and then why am I changing that? Because now I'm out like $10,000-$15,000 before I make $1.
But that's the thing, That's why you go do the Edinburgh Festival. You put your chips on you, and you gamble, and you keep betting on yourself.
But even if you have a huge success in Edinburgh, you're not coming back rich.
No, but you're not really going to get rich in comedy if you're trying to get rich in comedy.
No. Well, still make a living, though.
Yeah, make a living is different than $20 million in the bank.
Yeah. That would be nice.
But you have kids. You got to keep people alive.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So
I get like $100,000 in the bank, and I'm like, I could die on this.
Yeah. Not me, no.
No.
Especially with as long as they have comedy clubs and casinos, I don't have a savings that's safe.
Is it where some of your gigs are? Because a lot of those places will have like music venues where they have like rock bands from the 80s and stuff, but the venues are cool.
The ones on my tour?
Yeah.
For the most part. Some I don't know, but there's a bunch in Ontario that are really great. Because I did the, I don't know if you've probably never done it, but the Investors Group tour.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Is it kind of a corporate?
Very corporate, yeah. That's why you've probably never been there.
It's been a rumor that people have taken out of my ear.
Yeah. So we did like 26 cities in Ontario on this tour.
Who was on it?
It was me, Jean-Paul.
Oh, great.
And Pete Johansson did some, and John Wing did the other half. So.
Fucking John Wing.
Yeah.
That guy's a legend.
Yeah, man. He's down here too somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? When I first moved here, I'd run into him here and there, and at the store and whatnot, but I haven't seen him in ages.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of, I see Hots around once in a while. And
That's right. Hots is here too. I should reach out to all these
Hots
guys.
is just down by the Improv.
Oh, cool.
He lives by the Improv. Anyway, I shouldn't be saying that.
His address is
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, this is the most Canadian stand-ups, maybe because of the climate in Canada. A lot of comedians via the internet and their online presence are finding bridges to other markets, mainly the United States.
Yeah.
Because there's no one's embracing anything there.
Yeah, it's still, we got to make our own thing. And again, coming back to the petition that you talked about off the top, I don't think that's going to take away the struggle from stand-up. It's just going to, for instance, with my tour right now, I could have applied for a $10,000 grant to get me started, some operating capital.
Because you're from Quebec. You're more eligible for those
I probably
grants?
am already more eligible because I'm from Quebec. If I
Yeah.
applied to the Quebec government, this petition is to get the federal government to recognize stand-up as an art form like sculpting or theater. Like the people doing one-man shows. They're comedic
Sculpting or
one-man
theater?
shows. Theater.
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 Okay.
Theater.
You
Like there's
know,
a bunch
really
of one-man
wild
shows
accent.
out there. They're like comedic one-man shows that get funding, but only if the people have a acting background or a theater background. Where stand-up, that's what we do every day that we work. We're doing a one-man show.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's stand-up. We don't. So we're just trying to get them to say, okay, yeah, no, stand-up is a viable entertainment and art form, and we will.
It's so
put some money
naked
in
and
for it.
raw, it looks not recognizable as an art form. It's
guess.
so lean and naked that they don't see the alchemy that you have to bring the light in front of a. You don't have a drum in the back. There's nothing.
We could though if we wanted to, and if we had the money, maybe we would,
I
or just change the lighting.
If I get a French tambourine player to play background music, I can get a government grant.
Suddenly, you're qualifying more for a grant. And in Quebec, you bring up a good point.
Flute with my asshole.
Is that in Quebec they've always embraced stand-up. So in the one-man show in Quebec are very much like plays, like one-man show learned by heart.
Yeah.
There's beats and
Themes,
cues and
act breaks,
musical cues
lights
and
and stuff,
lighting cues. And I don't love that. I find that's not raw enough. I like my stand-up raw.
Mic, stage, light, crowd.
So a guy like
go.
Mike, who is like me in the long form storyteller, he basically just has acts. Just to say that there's a mise en scène,
a play,
a production,
yes,
right. So the light will change, and it's just basically has a big neon X that will go from blue to red to green or whatever. But at least he has a set decoration, and
he probably had to do that to give those people jobs,
right?
Because he doesn't need it.
It's a system.
You can put Mike or any of us in an alleyway with a PA, and it's it could be a rock show.
Yeah.
Who can walk into a room and command a group of people like that in any other art form
without a musical instrument or anything?
I'm not going to get my guitar out of the car. There's
us and Tony Robbins. That's who can do that.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes he makes me cry when he gets all emotional. But when he says fuck, I lose interest because I find it offensive.
You had me, reaching into a different part of my brain there, Tony.
Yeah, easy, Tony.
Fucking threw me off.
Favorite cities?
I gotta say, Montreal is still up there for me. I've heard San Francisco would fit in my personal tastes.
What's the largest population of French Canadians outside of the country? Probably California, I would assume, because there's most Canadians outside of the country.
Probably
in
New York, California. Yeah, New York and California.
People in the arts.
Yeah. We just walking on Venice Beach, we heard like a bunch of people speaking French.
Canadian French?
Canadian French, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Abdul's like, I just block it out, man. I didn't even know.
Once I moved here, man, I don't want to. No more French. I just block it all out. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much, man. It gives me a headache.
But
It's a lot of thinking to speak French.
You grew up.
I grew up there, yeah, in Montreal.
You know Hunter Collins.
I do know. Yeah, I know Hunter a lot. Yeah, he's great.
He's my son.
Good dude. Yeah, you guys kind of. I was gonna say you look very similar.
We had a strange night. Actually, last night we played in Edmonton together. We got. I can't even talk about that on it.
I only know him from here, since he's lived in Toronto. Though I came up in Montreal, but he was already in Toronto when I started.
I had an incident with some pig cop on St. Catherine Street who was yelling at me in French with Hunter, and because I stepped off the curb during a half-hearted jaywalking attempt on a Saturday night when the street's just crisscrossing with people.
Yeah.
And this cop got in my face and he's yelling at me. I knew he was trying to lean on me to submit, and I wasn't having it. He wanted me to apologize for stepping off the curb and coming back on. And Hunter's doing the translation, and we all speak English, yet there's this weird thing going around of a point system. He's yelling at me in French. I don't speak French, English. I go, Hunter, why does he keep speaking to me in French? He goes, I don't know. Why is he getting so aggro? He's yelling at me. You want to go to the police station? I'm like, again, let's go to the police station. I don't give a fuck.
Call the media.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. So, and that made him crazy. I'm like a fucking Vietnam vet for pressure. You know what I mean? So you yelling at me in a public place with a gun doesn't do nothing. It makes my dick move, actually, because I know you don't got the balls to end me right here in front of your coworkers, you cocksucker. And he pretty much wanted me to apologize, and it was just a standoff. And because he wants you to say you were sorry, and I go, no. And then, he wanted to give me a ticket, all this stuff. I go, we can do whatever you want. I don't care. Like, I'm done. I'm on my way home. But I
Yeah,
Have you run into police? Of course you have. Of course you have. As soon as you looked at me over the microphone, you're like, we're going to talk about this?
There's a lot of bad ones, yeah. It's not,
but you're legit. Wild man. But you do your business.
I'm a damn father of 3 kids, man. Come on.
You've clearly been around him at his best and his worst.
Oh, buddy, tell him about Niagara. That's a great story. So, have you heard his Niagara story? Why he's banned from that club?
No, that was the first and only club, or at the time was Niagara. I was banned from too. We seem to be walking different thing, but you have a.
Oh man, you got to hear this story.
And the casino, right?
I'm banned from all the casino properties, yeah.
That one's for a different reason?
Like I've alluded to, I do enjoy gambling a little bit. So this was my first ever Yucks gig, too. I was like, oh, my God, my career's finally becoming legitimate.
Yeah.
I'm going to start playing all these clubs.
Yeah.
So I do the first night of shows, and then after, I'm like, fuck, gambling, great. It's my other favorite thing to do. So I start gambling and drinking, and I'm telling them, hey, we should come to the club. It's really fun. And then I wasn't getting good cards, so I'm just lipping off to the dealer. I'm like, hey, come on, Jeff Foxworthy, give a guy some cards, because he had a weird 70s mustache like Jeff Foxworthy. Suddenly, this little fucking dickhead security guard says, sir, you're going to have to leave. You can't call you can't call the dealer names. I'm like, Jeff Foxworthy is what you call a name? That's not a name. I'm just playing around there. Everyone's laughing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're going to have to leave. And I kind of learned later that it's because I had proclaimed myself as an employee, being a comedian in the club, that apparently my behavior was held to a higher standard. But right now, I'm not a comedian anymore. I'm gambling and I'm losing.
And I'm putting money into your fucking bank.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck you. I'm down $800. You suck a dick. Get the fuck out of my face. He's like, you're going to have to leave. Don't make me take you out of here.
Don't make me.
And he's like this big. I'm like, go ahead and try, you little fuckhead, whatever.
Yeah.
And they had those two bigger guys standing on this side of me that I didn't notice. So they grabbed me by the arm. I'm like, hey, still don't fucking touch me. I'm like, all right, but fuck you guys. So I'm pissed off. All the way he's walking me out. I'm like, you little fucking piece of shit. Anywhere else, I'd see if this wasn't, my new job, that I would fucking take you outside and fucking punch you in the face.
This is on the Thursday?
Little
the
fucking
first show?
keychain. Yeah. So we get outside, and I'm still the whole way, you fucking douchebag, fucking loser, little gnome that couldn't be a fucking soldier because you're a fucking
weasel,
genetic
rat,
fucking inferior piece of shit. And we get outside, so I'm like, I light a cigarette, and he's like, you're gonna have to leave the premises. You have to cross that line, and it's a yellow line that's literally 2 feet in front of me. And now I'm like, you fucking little petty go fuck your mother, get out of my face.
Yeah.
He's like, if you don't cross that line in the next 3 seconds, I'm calling the police. And in my mind, it's like, all right, you have to go inside, call the police. No, he was like, 1, 2.
They're in the parking lot.
He's standing right beside me with like a plain clothes guy. Yeah. So he's like, 1. I'm like, shut the fuck. And 2, 3, and then, okay.
Were you hammered?
Tipsy. Drunk enough to be brave,
classy,
enough to be aggressive, like, fuck you. And then he was, okay, Bill, this guy's trespassing, and they fucking arrest me. My first night working for Yuck Yucks.
That's
now
awesome.
I'm suddenly under arrest. In my mind, I'm like, my career is over. I just ruined
I just blew $400 out the window.
The first big opportunity I have, and now I'm like, you motherfucker. I swear, I'm going to fucking find you, and I'm going to fucking destroy you, you fucking... And now the cop's like, hey, that's death threats. And I'm like, oh, fuck you too, you fat fuck. I hate you. Fucking pissed. And they have like a little police station in the casino. So
losers.
They bring me in there, and I'm handcuffed by my back, and he's like, okay, sit down. And I'm like, fuck you. You sit down, you fat piece of shit. And he's like, sit down. I'm like, you fucking sit down. Fuck off. And they've got me standing in front of a chair. So I'm standing.
He kicked
like
you in the
that,
chest?
And he come in and tried to like shoulder tackle me into the chair, and I just turned sideways.
Oh, no.
And I fucking hip checked him. And he's a fat old man.
Yeah.
So he went flying like, and right on the corner of his ribs on him. Like that sound like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit. I'm suddenly sober, and I was just like, oh fuck, he's hurt. And I just sat down. I'm like, sorry, I'm sorry. Fuck, he got up. As soon as that happened, the little shithead security guard, who is all he has is keys and a flashlight, come with the flashlight and fucking choke me. He would start choking me with the
against your neck.
And I'm handcuffed behind my back. So he's choking me. This guy fucking get up and grab me by the hair. And like just fucking, he's, when you're so mad and you don't know, you don't want to.
He's attacking you.
He can't punch, but he's doing like that on my face. Like, I just fucking asshole.
Retarded kids do that.
Yeah, that rage. Yeah, like the clenched teeth and holding their breath, and they're turning around. So I'm getting fucked up and choke, and I can't move my hand anyway. So then they're like fucking whatever. They finish roughing me up, and they're there. Okay, now that's death threats, trespassing, assault on a police officer. You're probably going to be in jail for 6-7 years, easy now. And I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening? And every time they're thinking of other stuff, like they've got a list of charges now that they're going to put on me, and I'm just like, fuck. Now they just let me stew there for like 45 minutes. I'm like, hey, you guys got to give me a phone call. I know that after an hour in custody, I'm allowed to have a phone call. You have to give me a phone call. And they're like, and I didn't even know, who am I going to call? I'm in Niagara Falls. I don't know anybody. You're not there. You're not in Hamilton. You can't come.
No, I would get.
Who am I going to call? Mark Breslin? So I'm just like, who am I going to call? I need help. So I'm like, fuck, I know who I'll call. I'll call 911. I'm being unjustly persecuted here. So I called 911
Did
from
you?
jail. Yeah, I'm in jail. I called 911, and I'm talking to the lady. I'm like, listen. I'm
under a desk. They're beating me.
I'm in police custody, and they're beating me every chance they get at the Niagara Falls Casino. And they're like, wait, you're in police custody? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, well, let me talk to the officer. I'm like, no. He will not tell you the same things that I'm telling you. I'm telling you, though, this is not right. They're choking me. I was handcuffed, and they were choking me for no reason. I need new cops. You have to send whole new. I need new police.
These ones are spoiled. These turned on me. These pigs are gone amok. New cops.
So this guy, OPP, are the one that police casinos. They send municipal Niagara Falls cops. And the guy walk in, and he look at me, and he's like, "You the one that called?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Where's the guy?" And I don't know. He just left me in this fucking
beat me and then blocked me.
Yeah. And then and I'm like, there he is. And this cop, the new cop, looks at the old cop, and you could see that.
John, this fucking
guy, power hungry,
amateur, fat,
so
fucking loser.
He says, "Okay,
cunt.
We're gonna talk. We'll be right back." Whatever, they go off and they talk. Felt like forever, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to tell my story to this cop.
He knows the guy's a fucking loser.
I think so.
He's been fired.
I'm feeling promise here, but he works for the OPP at a shitty post.
Everyone's got a knucklehead in their office, and that fucking lumpy that works at the casino can go fuck himself. He's down there, and that's why the other guy, he's sitting there with a half a double in his hand in the car,
and has to go.
Maybe going to beat off behind a factory,
right.
Clean his gun, and then he shows up and says, "Fucking." Dump truck there, with his belt cutting into his sides,
so
and those
fat.
fucking fat, fucking gross piece of shit. Anyway, I don't know the guy, but I don't like him.
He's a dick. So they talk, and the new guy comes out. He undoes the cuffs or whatever, and he's like, "Okay, listen," and he's whispering to me because he's going to tell me something that's not exactly.
Yeah.
So I took care of it. All you have to do now is just come with me. Don't say a word.
Release you back into the wild?
We're going back into
and I'm like, solid.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you so much.
This is
a huge misunderstanding. And then as we're leaving, though, I can't help myself. I fucking hate this guy. I just walk out and I'm like, see you later, man. And the new cop is like, what did I say? Come on. And he just pulls me faster out of there before this fucking guy changes his mind.
You just told me 3 hysterical parts. Right at the end, you gave him the go. Yeah. See you next Tuesday, fuckhead. And the cop's like, we weren't doing sue you next Tuesday. We talked about this in rehearsal.
It's the only thing you had to do. But he's still, and then and not only that, so I get out and he drove me to my hotel. So I saved myself a cab fare, really.
You know what? He's probably got some French-Canadian grandmother.
And
he's
wife.
feeling, nostalgic. And he's like, fuck. I know this piece of shit at the casino. I'm going to do a fucking good one for my brother.
Man, what a great thing. But needless to say, I was still banned from the casino. So I still think my career's over. Mark Breslin, I call him the next day. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It was a huge misunderstanding. And it turns out I've learned over the years, Mark loves that shit. Like, Mark probably loves you.
Mark loves me.
Anything dramatic, like cause some shit. Yes, we love it. He's like, Derek, it's only one of many clubs. Don't worry about it. You've been replaced already for the rest of the weekend. Your bookings are good for right now, and we're going to get you into the downtown club sooner than later. And I'm like,
that's how you move up. That's how you move up.
He's like, all right, I'm going to go throw a TV out the window at the next place.
That's right. And that's what, indirectly, Mark created that. He's, freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Be wild. Be crazy.
Yeah.
He loves it. He has a rubber stamp that says "fuck you."
Does he really?
And he stamps it and mails people their complaint letters
I love
back.
it. Oh, I love it.
Like that kind of shit. That's why I got into this.
That's why I have no problem being loyal to him. I mean, there's a lot of problems with maybe the operation of the company. But without him, there's no
Mark,
nationwide comedy.
Mark set a tone and a standard that is still relevant today in comedy. And, the business is the business, but I've put them through that company through the ringer multiple times with legal letters. We're going to take you to court, blah, blah, blah. And he's always responded with, fuck them. Yeah. Wholeheartedly committed to that. And that allows you to at least work under the umbrella of somebody that's not going to fucking leave you adrift.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
For that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But being banned from the Edmonton
one. And that's the pure art aspect of it. You know what I mean? There's the business.
And now, did you know they opened a new club in Niagara Falls?
Yes.
Right across the street from the casino. So it's fucking great.
Good.
I can play it.
I will be there either in August or November. I'll be doing some Ontario shows. Do you want to pump out some dates and where people can find out where you're performing?
Oh yeah, the tour starts with.
What's the tour called?
It's 40 Derek Seguin 43.0. Warning: may contain nuts.
I saw that, may contain nuts. Yeah, I like that.
So we kick it off in Montreal. Abdul and I at the Comedy Nest. Sort of the first kind of.
Are you doing
kick
English?
It off at home?
You're both doing English?
Yeah, it's all in English. Yeah. So St. Patty's Day weekend, which is one of my favorite weekend at home in Montreal. So we kick it off there, March 15 to 17 at the Comedy Nest.
Is that after spring? No, it's before spring.
Yeah,
it's probably the pre-Montreal fucking blowout before
all the festival shit starts.
It's St. Patrick's Day, because I've been there on occasion. It is fucking
If you work
insane.
in a bar, or if you own a bar, you make about a sixth of your year on that one day.
On St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
and the
fucking,
nightclubs, late night.
They kill.
Party. Montreal is a fucking. People always go, where do I want to go in Canada? I go, Montreal in the summer.
Like even the comedy club, the Comedy Works. Remember they've been struggling for the last few years. They make. So it wasn't the just St. Patrick Day, but on St. Patrick Day and just for laughs. So that's 2 weeks plus a day. They make a sixth of the whole year in that 1 day plus 2 weeks.
Yeah. They
so
set a
bars do
standard. People probably come in from more people. It's probably split between Ireland and
Montreal
Quebec.
is bigger than Ireland. The St.
Really?
Patrick Day, yeah.
No shit.
For the longest time, we were the biggest, and I think Boston 2 years ago had a bigger one. But
French Canadians
if the weather's
are killing
nice,
green beer.
Oh man, it's everyone is. There's no there's no color, there's no everyone's just drinking.
Fucking.
And just if the weather's nice, we get over 500,000 people showing up and just publicly drinking, and it's a day where laws are sort of suspended. It's
laxed.
Like it becomes New Orleans where you're allowed to drink and you'll be smoking a joint, you pass it and you realize the next guy in the circle is a cop and you're like, oh shit, okay, we've got to skip you. But they don't say anything, you know. They don't even. You're not used to. You have to be forced to put things in a paper bag.
It's like The Purge.
Yeah, it's like And sadly, a few years ago, a kid died
from.
He was trying to climb over a float. So you've got the truck, big rig pulling the flatbed, and he tried to climb over the link. Fell under the tires and he got killed. So the next year wasn't as fun. They were a little bit more. Stop drinking so much and stop being loud.
There's enough videos online. Don't climb shit when you're fucking drunk.
No, I know.
The asshole on the telephone pole falls to his death, and then everyone catches it on their phone, and then no more party there. Website, tour dates, where people get tickets.
So go to DerekSeguin.com. That's DerekSeguin.com. On the calendar, you have all the tour dates. We have a week in the Maritimes, a week in Alberta, and the rest are all in Ontario.
All in English.
All in English.
All in English.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why when you were telling me dates of the cities that you would come up, I thought these were just Quebec, French.
All in English.
Speaking show, all in English.
Really, the only French shows I do lately are corporate things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't seek them out. I'm doing pretty well in English, and I honestly, like I said, the vibe of French comedy, it's a little bit more fake than I like. I don't love it as much.
Clowny?
A little bit. And rehearsed. It's often rehearsed. I mean, there's guys that aren't like that. Like Mike Ward is not like that. But I like the vibe on the English side better. And, again, the ceiling is so much higher.
The traditional, I think, Canadians have their foot in British comedy and American comedy.
Totally.
So you get this kind of perfect, great comedy with the character, Second City.
Sure.
Monty Python, very full-formed character, mime, all that kind of thing. And then the American standard classic stand-up comedian Seinfeld in the middle of that, and I forgot what my point was.
The French didn't have those same influence.
The French now through the evolution of the traditional aspect of American idea of comedy and the French Canadian thing, you are the generation of that middle ground.
Yeah, and we've made it kind of our own thing. It's basically like what you're
there's
talking
no one
about.
Before you. You guys are
Quebec,
pioneers.
Spin on it, and I don't.
Without pandering, without the clowny aspect of it, you're a straight stand delivered dude.
That's right. I'm a long form story guy. Yeah, with
that's cool.
Little dirt. with a little dirt mixed in.
You're fucking from Montreal.
Yeah, man.
You know, I've never... A stripper with dirt on her nails is like... It's cool.
Yeah.
This girl's got a story.
She changed her oil this morning.
She changed her oil. She pulled that condom out of her asshole. Is that what they call it? We need another top-up on this. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, man. It's great to see you, Jay.
Always good to see you, and what a nice surprise. I always love seeing fellow Canadians over here in California, in New York, anywhere outside the country.
Yeah, man.
Doing the thing. So you can go to your website, get tickets, make 18 nuts. I've got a few bullshit things here. I'm going to be at the Dime here in Los Angeles on March 12th. The Laugh Factory on the 17th. And the Yuck Yucks. It's the water's coming up in the sink. I think the water table, it's fine.
It won't overflow?
No. And there's a dead cat in my sink, and I'm not... Is there anything in there? Anyway, thanks for being on the show, everybody. Blah. JasonRouse.com, Vancouver, Calgary, and Halifax, St. John, and then Toronto, May 2nd at the Underground Comedy. Thanks a lot, everybody. Dead cat sink.
I don't care what society thinks. They're nothing anyway. They're no better than me.